Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome in to Tracey Campbell's My Sweet Home Living. We've got a fun project this morning for you. I can't wait to see who's going to join us. I've been giving you a little sneak peek of what we were going to be doing today, and some of you are excited, and hopefully those of you that didn't know will be excited about it too. But we're sitting at the centering table this morning, and we are going to I'm going to show you how I create this sweet little primitive pear trio. So come on in. We're going to have some fun this morning. We're going to chat this morning. So do be sure that you chime in the chat so I can see who's here this morning. I have a couple other devices. That way, if our comments aren't working, I'll be able to see you in one place or the other. So come on in, and we'll see if we're rolling. I think we're rolling. I see some eyes, but no comments. So let's pull it up over here. That's the way we got to do it. There we go. There's Miss Sandra. Good morning, Marie. How are you all this morning? Is it hot? Is it hot where you're at? It's hot here. It's super hot. Good morning, Miss Phyllis from Texas. I know it's hot in Texas. I know it's hot probably everywhere, right? Good morning, Miss Stephanie. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you all? I know some of you have seen the primitive pears. And what do you think? Do you think it's something that you're going to give it a try? I think they're super sweet. Now, last week, I was live and we experimented with a little pear pattern, and I almost finished them. I did not give them little stems, but this was the set of pears from that pattern, and that pattern was from Chestnut Junction, I believe. But these are more of a flat style. These would be super cute for little bowl fillers. But the pattern I'm going to show you today is a little bit more three-dimensional, spherical in shape. And these are going to be perfect for our next primitive sewing collections. Those of you that got the crows, this is going to be somewhat of a similar set, a three-piece little pear set. And these are, let me pick one of these up and show you. Good morning. It's cold in your house with the AC going. I know. Oh, thank goodness for our AC, right? These little pears are, let me just show you an example. So this one is I'm calling this one not 3D. It's just more of a flat style. But if you look at it from the front, and they're different styles of pears for two different shapes. But look at this one. This one is more spherical in shape, I guess, more rounded, whereas this one's more flat. So this is the style that I'm going to be creating. I have to still finish these. I have not finished them with the little stems and whatnot. But this little pattern is from a designer on Etsy. Good morning, Miss Irma. Let's see. Good morning, Natalie from North Carolina. This pattern is from a designer. Her name is Tammy, and her shop is called Rock River Stitches. You can find her on Etsy. Her patterns are a little bit price point, a little bit higher than most of the time. The patterns that I share with you all are mostly just like $1 or $2, maybe $4 or so. This one was priced a little bit higher. But I will tell you, I have 3 different pear patterns that I have been experimenting with, and this one's been my favorite. So if I had just got this one at the beginning, I wouldn't have had to worry about the others. But there's different styles for different purposes, so it depends on where you think you may use them, what style you may like. So you can keep that in mind too. So I think it's kind of good that we can kind of see the different styles, but you can see these were more of a flat style, which I think will look sweet in a little bowl, because you can kind of stack them and lay them, layer them a little bit easier because of their flatness a little bit. But I think these are a little bit sweeter when they're styled in like a little mini bread tray, which is what I have found. I've had this bread tray forever. I think I may have grabbed it at Goodwill like many moons ago. But if you can find one of these little mini bread trays, I'm going to start looking. If I find one, I'll let you know where it was at, where I find it. But this is what mine looks like. It's just a simple little, like a little breadstick tray, I think, or a little bread loaf tray, I believe is what they're called. I have not looked online to see where you can get them, but it's perfect for these little trio of pears. And all I did was I took a little piece of cheesecloth and draped it kind of across the little tray, and then I just styled them 1, 2, 3. And you know, odd numbers always look super cute when you've got them together like that. And I've had them tucked in the little arrangement that I have back here, which is where I took the little photo that I shared with you all. Good morning, Miss Jennifer. Good morning, Stephanie and Christine. Hey, Miss Kimmery. So I have them sitting back here with this little trio for now. And don't they look sweet? I don't know, something about the little green leaves on them, I think just make them look have so much character as well. You all stay tuned if you are interested in those primitive sewing sets, which means you will get 3 of the pairs that are already stitched together for you. You will just have to finish them. Okay, it's an unfinished sewing collection, which means I've done all the sewing for you. It will just be up to you to finish them, which is what I'm going to demonstrate and show you today, how you'll finish those. In your set, you'll get a little sheet that's somewhat like this. This is the sheet, the guide sheet that came with the Crow sewing collection. It gives you a list of supplies that's included. It gives you a list of additional items or optional items that you may want or need to finish them. I also give you the coffee grounds recipe over here on the side. And then there is a link to, it will be a straightforward video of showing you step by step how to finish it. You can refer back to this video if you want, but I will have a pre-recorded video where there's no chatting involved. It'll just be a straightforward step by step video like we did for the crows, to where it'll show you how to finish them from start to end. So those of you that grabbed the crow sets really enjoyed those. I believe that we shipped out 45 sets of crows, which there was 3 crows in each set. So that was 135 crows that Lady Singer here helped me put together here. So the pairs will be the same way. They will already be stitched for you. They're unfinished, but they're stitched. There's no sewing that you have to do on your end. Let's see, other than a little bit of little stitching around the top, and I'll show you how to do that, and it's super easy. Good morning. And you can use a lot of the same supplies, like if you bought the doll needle, if you bought the gold craft paint, if you of course got the polyfill, the sandpaper, a lot of the same supplies that we used for the crows will be some of the same supplies that you'll also use for the pairs, which I think is nice, that you can kind of continue using those supplies that you've already have in your stash. And not only that, these sweet little pairs will also coordinate nicely with the crows, because we're using some of the same golden ochre color from folk art. And so those colors will blend nicely with your crows. And these pairs, I think, will blend nicely all into fall as well. And actually she has them titled Primitive Fall Harvest Pairs. So you can color them any color you wish. I'm going to show you how I finished mine today, so that if you want to try to create them exactly like mine, you'll know how. And then you can kind of judge and see how you want to change it if you want as well. So y'all come on in. Come on in. All right, the pattern, let me show you what I've done. I have showed you all this before, how when I purchase like a digital pattern on Etsy or whatnot, I print them out and I store them in these little plastic sleeves protectors, and I put them in a 3-ring binder, and that way it just kind of stores them and organizes them better, keeps them ready and organized when I need them. So this comes with a cover sheet. She has the pattern pieces right here. Good morning, Miss Jennifer. How are you? How are you, Miss Stephanie? How do you order? Okay, good question. If you want to go ahead, if you like to sew, enjoy sewing, you can go ahead and purchase this pattern. This is not my pattern. I don't get any kickback or return from this. It's just something that I enjoy, and I like to share those things with you all. But you can find her on Etsy. You can look up, what did I say? Rock River Stitches. Rock River Stitches is her shop name on Etsy. So if you go to Etsy, actually, I may be able to put it in the comments right here. I think I copied the link. Let me see. Okay, now I did just put that link in there, but please know that's just for the pattern, okay? That is just for the pattern. If you sew and you want to create your own, then that's what you'll do. If you want the already pre-sewn set, that will release here on my page on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. So you all set a reminder on your phone. I'll be giving a reminder every day until then. If you're on my Telegram channel or my Messenger broadcast channel, I will send out reminders every day up until Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Those folks that are on those notification channels of mine will get the link first. They will get first dibs. There is a very limited quantity of these sets because I can only sew so many pairs. So there will be a limited quantity of 50 sets of those pairs. So they will go pretty quickly. The crows sold out within just a few hours last time. So I anticipate these will probably do the same. But if you want the pattern to sew your own, then you'll use the link that I just popped into the comments there. Hopefully it'll show up. Let me pin it on this end. Okay. I pinned it. Hopefully it will pop up there for you. Okay. So that's the difference. This is just the pattern for you to create your own today. I'm going to show you how to finish them. And then if you want the pre-sewn set, check back Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Okay. And I will be listing those for you. Oh, good morning. We have a new friend in the house. New to your channel. And let's see. I am loving everything. I'm so happy. Oh, well, welcome, Ms. Lisa. We're so excited to have you here. She gives a list of supplies that she has used. She used something called walnut crystal stain or a strong coffee, which is what we typically use. Here we use the coffee ground. So that's how I use it. That's something I always have in my craft stash anyway. So, and probably if you follow me already, you probably have it in your craft stash too. So we'll make that work with the coffee grunge. She gives directions on how to do the leaves and so forth. Very detailed instructions, which are nice. A large enough print that's easy to read, which is we can all appreciate, right? And then, of course, the pattern pieces that come with it. I print mine on cardstock so that they're easier for me to trace and use over my fabric. So I keep these all in one of these little plastic sleeves just like this. And if I need to refer back to it, I'll just pull them out. There you go. Isn't that nice just to kind of have all that together? My binder is down here. So for now, I'm just going to tuck that right down in there. So these are the two pattern pieces that will come with that set that if you purchase those, these are the two pieces. You will need, I don't know, I've cut out probably, I don't know what size you'd say, maybe a 10 by 9 square. This is just a scrap piece that I've had sitting around, and this is actually the last piece of muslin material that I have in my stash. It goes back on sale on Hobby Lobby next week, so you know where I'll be. I've got to stock back up on my fabric. This muslin fabric material is perfect for these little pairs. You will need three fabric pieces of this shape. This is just to create one pair. You'll need 3. If you're going to create a trio, of course, 3 times 3, you'll need 9 of these and 3 of these if you're doing the trio. Okay. For today, I'm just going to show you how to finish one of them, and you'll just repeat the process with all 3 of the rest. Okay. Good morning, Miss Kathy. Oh, Miss Patty. Oh, good. Well, if you didn't know, are you on my Telegram channel or my Messenger broadcast channel? If not, that's where I send notifications of when I'll be live. And I should be able to, let me pop up my Telegram channel right there for you. Hopefully that'll pop up for you. That's where I send out notifications. And if you're not on my Messenger broadcast, you can do one or the other. I pretty much send the same information to both. But either one will work just fine. Okay, I'm going to lay this down. I have this folded down. I'm going to be cutting, let's see, I think that'll be 4 pieces that I just need 3 to create one, but you can layer and cut. Depends on how good your fabric scissors are, how many layers of fabric you can cut through. Mine are pretty sharp, so I can cut through 4 layers of this fabric pretty easily. Now, you could get creative and use some different kinds of fabric to create these little pears. Let me show you. Let me kind of tilt the camera down just a little bit here and show you what we're doing here. Let me zoom in, possibly. Will it let me? It's not going to let me. Nope, not going to let me. Okay, so let's see. Hold your eyes. I'm going to slide this over just a little bit so you can see a little better. I am laying, if you need to swipe those comments over, you can do that, or sync them. You can do one or the other. I think you can sync them. There's a little arrow, look at right here. In the bottom left corner of your screen, there's a little drop down arrow in the bottom left corner. If you tap that, it will make your comments disappear if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, the replay will be on YouTube later today, and these videos are best viewed if you use the YouTube app on your mobile device or iPad or whatnot, okay? Since I stream vertically most of the time. But you can swipe those comments down, and that way you'll be able to see what we're working on the table better. Good morning, Miss Esmeralda. How are you, friend? How are you down in Texas? So many of you all are in Texas. I know you are. And I know it's hot. I know it's hot down there. It's hot here in Kentucky too. Okay. This one, I got that crease in my table. I'm just using a basic ink pen to trace my pattern pieces. If you have one of those invisible pens, that will work perfectly too. It's whatever you have. And when I cut these out and finish them, the ink line will not be visible. So I'm not going to fret over a little bit of ink. I had an invisible ink pen or invisible fabric pen. It broke, and then I bought a new one, and I don't know where it's disappeared to. It's kind of like one of those things, when you need it, you can't find it anywhere, but whenever you don't need it, it's right there in front of your face. That's the way it goes. So I'm going to take some straight pins. Humid today and overcast. Oh, Miss Shana, I saw your potato harvest. I'm so jealous. I did not get any potatoes in the ground, but your ground is so soft. Our dirt is not there yet. We've got a couple of years probably to go before we can get our ground conditioned enough for it to be that soft, but those potatoes looked amazing. I'm taking some straight pins, and what I'm doing is I'm pinning those layers of fabric together so that they stay put when I'm cutting them. Okay, that's what I've done. That way these layers of fabric, they're not going to shift around, and I get a nice even line when I'm cutting. Okay. Hey, Miss Lisa. So cut these out, and we're going to cut on the line. Yes, that's the way her pattern says. Some patterns are different. Some of them want you to sew on the line, and some of them want you to cut on the line. So if you purchase this pattern, this one's a little bit different than the ones we've done previously. This one you cut on the line, and I'll show you where she recommends to stitch like 1/8 of an inch inside the edge. Okay, these shapes are very beginner friendly. Okay, so if you have a sewing machine and maybe you're a little rusty, you haven't used it in a while, or maybe you're a beginner and you need some easy projects, this will be perfect for you. And I think it's always easier when you have a demo video to watch, to kind of show you and help you along, to let you know if you're doing the right thing or not, right? I've always, when I was looking at these, I've always enjoyed looking at these little patterns and thought, I wish I knew how to make those. I wish I could just see somebody make those, and I couldn't find videos on things like this. And so I hope this will help you like it's helped me. If you've been wanting to create little items like these. These little shapes are basic enough that if you want to create these in multiples, if you are someone that does craft shows, or maybe you have a shop on Etsy or whatever, these little shapes are easy enough that you can create in a larger quantity and not take up, too much of time. I guess what I'm saying is the level of difficulty is easy enough to duplicate over and over, if you will. Okay. So now I have this little stack of this, Marie, this is muslin with an N. It ends with an N, Muslin. This is muslin fabric material. I get mine at Hobby Lobby. I love the thread count of the type that they have there. I've purchased it in other places before, and I just wasn't as happy with the texture of it as well as I do this one. Okay, so we're going to take our straight pins out of the leaves, and we're going to just set the leaves over to the side for a little bit. I'm going to clip those together and just set those over. And then the pears, I'm going to take 2 of these, okay, and in her directions, what brand of scissors? These are Fiskars. I believe I grabbed these at either Walmart or Hobby Lobby, but they're so nice. And I put on here, I say fabric only. I know fabric only, but you never know. My kids or somebody, may want to be grabbing these to cut something. And, I've already told Sawyer, because he helped me with the crow sets. And he was like, what do you have that on there for? I said, well, these are for fabric only because they have to stay sharp. And so anyway, that's why I have that written on there. But these are just regular Fiskars scissors, and I love them. So down here at the bottom, you're going to make a little dot with your pen about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. Do you see what I've done there? This is going to be your start of your stitching lines, okay? Good morning, Miss Jennifer. Which thickness are you using? I do not know that. I do not know. I'm sorry, Terry. I just grab usually whatever's the cheapest at Hobby Lobby. It's usually like $3.99 a yard or $4.99 a yard, regular price. But every other week it goes on sale, and next week it's on sale. So if you need to get some now or next week, starting on Monday, it'll be on sale at Hobby Lobby. Okay. So you're going to take 2 of these pieces. I'm going to take my straight pins and I'm going to pin these 2 together. Okay. And put your pins somewhat in the center so that when you're sewing, your sewing machine needle will not, or these little straight pins will not get in the way of your sewing machine needle. I'm going to put this one up. Okay. That's what you do too. I know you can't beat the price of muslin fabric material prices. It's so inexpensive if you want to create a large quantity of something. Now, if you have some really cute, like golden colored homespun check or something like that, you could really go all out and make some cute little pattern sets of these pears. They would be darling as well. Good morning, Miss Brenda. How are you? Good morning, Miss Terry. Okay, so let's pull Lady Singer over here. And we are going to I'm going to put my pear under my needle with this point under my needle. Okay, this little dot that we made with our pin, this is where I want my needle to go in, and I'm going to sew down the right side of my pear all the way up here to the top. I'm going to leave this top part open. Okay, we're not sewing across this. This little area is where we will turn it right side out. Good morning, Miss Tanya. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hoping he is getting better soon. We'll keep you in our thoughts. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I lower that down. And I'm going to position my needle right on that little dot. Okay, now I know you all can't see that, but it's there. Let me see if it'll let me zoom now. Oh, it did. you have to have your fingers just right on it. Now I know it's kind of backwards, but it's still the same process. I'm going to sew down this is my right side. For you, it's your left, but it's the right side. Let me get my presser foot up here so we're ready to sew. And I'm going to stitch a continuous line all the way around this curve and then all the way to this tip right here. And if you go a little wonky, it's okay. Each one of these pairs is going to have a little bit different character and personality to them. So if you sew, yes, thank you, Miss Stephanie. She just put the link back in there for you. If you sew, you can purchase this pattern. It's not my pattern or anything. It's just something that I love and wanted to share with you all. If you want the pre-sewn sets, I will have those Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. for you. I'll post the link here for you. We have a limited number of 10 available. So start, stitch about 3 or 4 stitches, and then press your back stitch button. And we're going to go, I'm trying to decide which way is out of the camera view here. And then we're going to press our reverse button and hold it and go back 3 or 4 stitches. And what that does is it seals your thread and your stitches there so that it doesn't come unsewn over time. Okay. Now we're just going to continue. We're going to sew about 1/8 of an inch inside this edging. Okay. And when I get this, I'll show you what it looks like. Take your time, and you can make that curve without lifting your presser foot up at all, which is nice because you don't have to start and stop a whole lot. Okay, now I'm getting close to the end. I've got to be ready to hit my reverse button because I need to once again reverse when I get to the end to secure those threads in. All right, now my needle's down in my fabric, so I'm going to rotate my wheel and pull that up, raise my presser foot, and I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so I'm going to pull it out, and I need to leave, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 inches of thread there. I'm going to clip those tails off. Okay, let me go down here and clip these tails off. Okay, so here's what we have right now. Let me slide the sewing machine back. This is what we have right now. I'm going to take out my straight pins for a moment. Okay, put those over there in my little container. Go back to your little stack of pair pieces here, and I need one more. Each pair has 3 of these pieces for it. Okay, so right now we have 2 of them sewn together. This is what you have so far. Now we're going to leave it like this. We're going to kind of fold it out like this. Take those 2 pieces. See what I've done here? I'm going to unfold it about halfway and lay those little flaps out. And then this 3rd piece I'm going to lay on top. Okay. Right now I'm just focused on my right side. I know it's showing left for you because the video is reversed. Thanks to Facebook. I'm going to match up those edges right there. Okay. Now, if you need to pin these, you might want to go ahead and at least put a pin so that those edges match up. I'm going to, so here's the layer that we've just sewn together. Okay. I've unfolded it. I'm laying this new piece on top, and we're going to stitch down the right side. So let me pin this in place. This can be a little tricky when you're working with 3 pieces to a set. They want to move around for you. So all the way from the top of the pair down to the bottom point of the pair, I want to make sure that my edge is lined up. And I'm going to pin them together so that they stay put while I'm sewing. Okay, that's what I have right now. So let's take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch from the bottom up to the top. I need to make a little dot. Why do we make the dot at the bottom, you may ask? Well, when you put this little set of layers under your presser foot here, sometimes it's hard to see exactly where you have it. If you have that little dot, it's easier for you to identify. Yes, that's right, Miss Esmeralda. This will give you the more rounded shape to the pairs. Oh, I did this. Hang on here. I'm going to go ahead and pin this side too. Because while I was talking, I got backwards. By looking at the camera, I did my left side instead of my right side. So let me go ahead and stitch this side, and we'll do them both together. And you'll see, once you get these sewn, you'll see how this works out. These 3 pieces, I will just tell you, the first time I did it, I was just, going along, stitching along, and then I was like, wait a minute. I ended up stitching 2 pieces together down both sides. And I'm like, that's not going to work. What was I thinking? I just wasn't paying attention. But this is what it will look like. So let's stitch down both sides here, and then we'll unfold it, and you'll see how it just unfolds perfectly. So let's you got to make sure that you get those layers unfolded just right to get it down there. Okay, we're going to lower the needle right down to that little dot. There we go. We got it. Lower the needle down into the fabric, and now we're ready to go. Remember to back stitch. Oh, hold on, my thread got a little jumbled right there. Okay, we've back stitched. Now we're ready to just sail on down the curve. Take it slow around that curve if you need to. If you get too close to the edge, it will pop open when you go to stuff it later. So you don't want to get too close to the edge there. If you looks like your little pieces are getting out of alignment, just reposition them a little bit and just keep on stitching. Back stitch. All right, let's pull our needle up. Press the presser foot up, and I'm pulling it away. I'm going to leave about 6 or 7 inches of a thread tail there, okay? And that thread tail just ensures that when I start again that it's not going to come unthreaded on me. So let's cut these tails off. And then we have one more side to sew. Let's see, which side is it here? This one right here. Let me show you real quick how close to the edge I'm getting. Can you see that stitch line right there? Do you see where my stitches starts right here and it goes all the way around the edge? Okay. Try to keep it about 1/8 of an inch. Like I said, you don't have to have it perfect, but I think that's a good example of about the distance you need. Seam allowance, that's the proper term for it. Seam allowance. Okay, so this is the last side that I need to do. I'm going to take these pins out now since I have all the other sides sewn together. I'm afraid I don't want to sew over those straight pins and have it break my needle. Okay, so this last side, I need to make my little dot. Let me put it up here where you all can see. I'm going to make my little ink pen dot again on this side. We're going to stitch around and then we'll unfold it. Lay your presser foot down and get that needle right on that little dot that we made with the ink pen. Now this time, all I'm going to do, since I don't have my straight pins in, good morning, Miss Kimberly, I'm going to hold these layers together so that I kind of keep the edges lined up as it moves, okay? So every once in a while I might have to pause and just check to make sure that these edges right here are lined up. Otherwise, we might have a little wonky pair, and that's okay too. If it gets a little wonky, that just gives them extra character. All right, stitch 3 times, back stitch 3, and then smooth sailing on. Around the curve, try to keep your seam allowance distance consistent. Check my edging right here. We're still lined up good. As I get to the end, I'm going to prepare to back stitch 3 times. Okay, and I'm going to go forward back again. Let's pull my needle up. Okay, raise my presser foot, and we are finished with the sewing machine. Okay, that is the last little step of the sewing machine we need. Cut those thread tails all off. Let's slide Lady Singer out of the way, and let me show you what we have here. This is the pair. This is the what you will get. You will get 3 of these in your set, along with some other items. Okay, I'll be telling you everything that will come in your primitive sewing collection if you choose to order on Tuesday when they release at 10 a.m. This is what you'll get. You'll get 3 of these. You're going to take them and you're going to slowly turn it right side out. Now, hold on. Let me back up just real quick. Sometimes, depending, you'll want to check your seams, okay? I won't be checking all of them, but if you have an area where maybe you have a little bit more, let me see if I can get that light on here just right. If you have just a little bit more of an area in between your edging and your stitch line, you may want to make a few snips right there. You can do that. Sometimes that will, if you have too much, let me grab my snips right here. If you have too much distance between your edging and your seam allowance, sometimes it will cause it to want to pucker when you unfold it. So just take your snips, okay? Or scissors will work just fine too. Make a couple little snips in that fabric. Do not get into that stitch line. If you do, you're going to create a hole in your pear and your filling will be coming out of that little area. Okay. All right. I'm going to snip in a couple of those little spots. Anywhere where you have a curve and any more than 1/8 of an inch of fabric right there on the edge, you just kind of want to give it a little snip here and there. And even if it doesn't need it, it's not going to hurt it if you do it anyway. Let me zoom back out so I can see y'all. So I'm going to flip it back out. Good morning, Miss Bonnie. Let's see. Someone said, Lisa, I don't sew a lot as I don't have a machine. Could these be done with glue just for your own door? You can do them with glue, Lisa. It's a little more challenging for these little pairs. If you did them with glue, it would look like this when you're finished. So when you stuffed it, you would have these little seams visible. You know what I mean? So for these little pairs, you would either want to hand stitch them, or use a sewing machine. So if you don't sew and you want some of these little pairs, see me batting my eyes? Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., I will have some of these primitive pair sets available for you that have already been sewn that you can purchase, okay? I have, oh goodness, how did I do that? I thought it was going to let me flip my camera. I'll have some of these little pair sets that are already sewn, and you can finish them any way you'd like, okay? Okay. Oh, my nose is tickling. Let me grab my little skewer stick here. I'm going to take the blunt end of my skewer stick and go along the inside of those seams, and that will just allow it to make sure that I've unfolded it to the best that I can. Otherwise, see that little pucker right there? It's where that seam doesn't want to completely unfold for me. So I'll just take the end of that skewer stick and run it along that stitch, and it pulls it out fully for me. Let's do the same with this. Oh, y'all see what I did? See what I did right there? I must have stitched too close to the line right there. Oh, let me unfold it and see. Because you may have this same problem. So this is actually a good troubleshooting lesson. Let me unfold it. I did this on one of my other pairs as well, when I was creating them for the first time. But I thought I was good on this set, on this one. Let's see. I may have to unfold it back because I don't see where that was. I didn't. Let me unfold it. It's not on that one. I have 3 seams. Okay, it's on this seam right here. So let me unfold it right to that little spot. I have 2 little spots on that seam. Oh my. I really messed up on that one. It's fixable, just like when you're crafting, it's all fixable. So I'm going to keep my hand on that seam and unfold the rest with my other hand. So I will need the sewing machine one more time. So what did I do here? You know what? I think my edges of these two pieces right here were not perfectly lined up. And when I made my stitch, one side it looked okay, but the other side, it was too close to, I don't know if y'all can be able to see that. Probably not. It was a little too close, and so it's come undone. So here's what I'm going to do. Excuse me. Throat's a little scratchy all of a sudden. Let me grab a quick drink of water. Okay. And all we're going to do, we're going to take this back to the sewing machine. And I don't have to start all the way at the bottom. I'm going to I have two little holes that I need to cover up. So I'm going to start a little bit above the top hole, and then I'll finish it a little bit below where the bottom hole is, which is right here. The bottom hole is right here, so I'll stop a little bit further down. Let me lower my needle down into the fabric, make sure I'm lining it up the best that I can already on that stitch line that I already have there to start with. Then I'll sew in a little bit further when I get down to these little areas where the holes were, okay? All right, I do need a back stitch when I start and stop. All right, so let's make sure that I clear that edge with enough seam allowance this time to seal that little pear up. And I'm gonna do my best to stop on that same stitch line where I've sewn it the first time. Cut the tails, make sure I didn't check to make sure I leave enough thread tail there. Okay, now I think we're finished with the sewing machine. Good morning. My comments stopped scrolling. Good morning, Miss Linda. Good morning, Wendy. Now let's turn this little pear right side out, and we should have it good now. But if you do that, you'll see how easy it is to fix. And that's why I wanted to walk through that little troubleshooting process with you. That was a good example of how to not fret. It's not all gone if you have that happen. So I flipped it back out, and I think we're good now. And that's the other thing that this is good for. You know, you'll find those little breaks in your stitching with this little skewer stick if you make sure that those seams are completely unfolded there. We're good. We are good. So now we're ready to stuff. Now, here's the thing. You can stuff these with just straight polyfill, which I need to grab mine out of the drawer. Hang on just a second. I gotta grab it. I forgot I put it away last night, thinking I was doing good cleaning up, and then look what didn't happen. It never fails when you clean up. You need what you need what you put away, right? Okay. I think I have enough stuffing in there. I had to move my light to get over there. All right, so in the bottom of these, I like to have a little bit of weight. Let me show you. This one. It's almost like a little bean bag, sort of. Now, I made 3 of these, and I did put beans in the first one. Let me show you what that looks like. If you want to get some smaller beans, probably would be better. But here's the look that I got on mine. See, I get the little bean look on the bottom of my pears. So I was like, okay, that's not going to work. What I would recommend to do, whatever you choose to fill it with, which is fine because I can hide that one, I would choose to go with something smaller. So like maybe a really fun little aquarium gravel, possibly, but I think you'll still get the same look that I did with the beans. I've chosen to go with some dried rice. Now, we are going to paint these with a little mixture, and as long as you don't get it too wet, it's just fine. The other ones, like this one right here, I filled with a little bit of rice in the bottom, and it turned out perfect. There's no issues with the paint looking funky on the bottom like it did with the beans. So I think the beans, there's too much of a larger size to those beans, and it caused some like indentions on my little bottom of the pear, so I don't want that to be seen on this one. So this the other two that I made, I used rice and they turned out perfect. So what I've done is I've put some rice in a little baggie. I cut the corner of this little bag, and I'm going to use this corner to pour a little bit of that rice down into the bottom of my pear. I'm probably putting like maybe a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons. I don't know. Probably 2 tablespoons in the bottom of that pear, and it will give it some weight, and it will help them to sit upright whenever you create these. It just gives them a little bit more stability. They're not heavy at all, so that's what I've put in mine. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use my stuffing, my polyfill. You can use any stuffing that you want. This is all I have left. That's also on my Hobby Lobby list. Next week, I'm going to get some more polyfill. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to start stuffing away. Let's see here. This is where you need to kind of pull out your patience. That's a good idea. Put your rice in a little pantyhose section. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with putting it in the way it was, and it stayed put just fine. Because we're going to stuff these to the max. You didn't think when I heard pears that I would be interested. Oh, I know. I will tell you, the more you start looking at pears, the more you will realize that they are becoming a really big thing, especially for primitive style decorating. They are just so cute. And I put them together in a little vignette, and I love the way they look, and they carry you all into fall without feeling fall. You know what I mean? It's just a subtle touch of summer and fall. I think that's really cute. And these are pretty easy to make. Just takes a little bit of patience. But the primitive sewing collection for these, well, you will get 3 unfinished pears, a list of supplies, a special video, pre-recorded video showing you how to finish them from start to end. If you want in on one of those primitive sewing collections, they will be released. Those will be mine. Those will release Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. That link for those goes to my Telegram and Messenger broadcast channel, people first. And then I will post it here after the first hour. I'll post it on my Facebook page and YouTube community page. And but the Telegram subscribers and my Messenger broadcast channel subscribers get first dibs for the first hour. We have a limited quantity of 50 of these. So they will go fast. Hopefully I have enough stuffing. I was trying to make sure I left enough for 1 pear, but I probably would stuff it a little bit more. I want to stuff it until I can't stuff it anymore, because it really gives you that, it fills out those edges, those little curved edges so perfect if you really fill it to the max. I don't think I have any extra stuffing around here anywhere. Okay, now what you're going to take next is what you could use, just a regular needle with some upholstery thread if you want. But if you grabbed the primitive sewing collection for the crows last time, the crow crock pokes, you've probably already purchased a doll needle. And I will be giving you some of this crochet thread. This is what I'll be using, and this will come, your crochet thread will come in your kit with it. If you order the Permanent Sewing collection, you'll have the thread in your set. You're going to take this unfinished edge of the pear. Let me zoom in for you one more time. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Isn't that nice? Okay, there we go. This is the unfinished edge. What we're going to do is we're going to just kind of fold that in over itself about 1/4 of an inch, okay? Just like that. Do you see how I'm just kind of pinching it with my fingers? It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? But I have my thread through my needle. I have a little bit of a tail that just kind of hangs over, okay? So up here I have two areas of thread, and then it extends on down. I'm going to put my needle in where I have started the fold, okay? And I'm just going to do a little straight stitch, which means I'm going to kind of go back and forth. And it's almost like we're making some little pinch pleats all the way around the rim, the top rim of the pear, okay? Now, as you go along, you'll just fold down as you go. Sorry, I know it's kind of hard for me to do it and get my hands out of the view. Zigzag. Okay, so let me just show you what that looks like up close. Do you see how I've got that zigzagged on my needle? I've just pleated it, and then I'm going to pull it through. I do a couple and then pull it through. And then pull my thread. Here's my tail. You need to always know where the tail of your thread is, because we don't want to pull that tail through. Otherwise, we're going to lose our little stitches. So I'm going to leave, you know, about 5 inches hanging out right there, okay? Now, let's continue to go around the rim, fold it in. Whoop, might help if I use the right end of my needle. And we're going to do some more little straight stitches. If all of your straight stitches aren't the same distance apart, don't fret, because they're not going to show, okay? This is going to help us pull this together. It's going to help us to close it shut, and it'll also give us a spot where we can put our little stems, okay? Whoop, came out there. So don't fret about this part being absolutely perfect. Mine is far from perfect, and it still turns out super cute. All right, so I'm back to the part where my tail, when I first started, okay? Because here's my tail coming out. So I know that when I come out this time, I'm going to come out right beside of it, okay? And I'm going to pull all the way through, okay? This time I'm going to let the thread come off of my needle, just like so. All right? Now let me put my needle over here so that I don't drop it on the floor. Okay, so this is where it's kind of like you're pulling a drawstring bag. If you pull those, it's going to cinch that top closed. We don't want to close it all the way because we need to leave enough room for a stem. Let me grab my cutters here. This is a good old stem from the yard. And I'm just going to use my cutters just to cut off about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, whatever suits your fancy. And I'm going to kind of just stick that in there for sizing right there, okay? And now I'm going to cinch this closed on to my stick, okay? I need a little bit more stuffing in my pear, y'all. I just ran out of stuffing, but when you do yours, stuff them as stuffed as you can. Now we're going to tie this in a double knot, okay? So that it holds that stick tight and holds your stuffing in tight. So tie it in a double knot, and then you can cut your tails off. Okay, we're starting to look like a pear now, right? We're starting to look like a little pear. So here's what we're going to finish with, but this is where we're at right now. This is where you can get creative with your colorings. If you'd like, you can create them as green pears. Sometimes pears have a little bit of a reddish tone to them. I just created mine all in a golden color. For that, I'm using the color by Folk Art called Golden Ochre. I believe I get this at Hobby Lobby, but Golden Ochre is the color, and it's perfect. It's perfect for this, especially if you mix it with coffee grunge. Now, confession time. How many of you all, when you're painting with craft items, you use your paint and you leave it out and you let it dry? Y'all see what I've got right here? This is my little cup of golden ochre paint, and it has dried. I was using this a couple days ago, and I left it in here, and it's dried. So we're not going to fret. We're not going to fret because it doesn't have to be some perfect collection. Even my little sponge brush is even like stiff as it can be in there. So here's what we're going to do to rescue it. We're going to take some good coffee grunge here. Let me shake this up a little bit because I want my cinnamon. I'm about due for a new bottle. You too, Sandra. Me too. I know. It just happens, right? I'm going to take this coffee grunge and I'm going to pour a little bit, probably like a tablespoon or so, in the bottom of my cup. All right. And then I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. And as it sits, it's going to soak into my sponge. Okay, I just wiggled my sponge brush and it came loose. That little bit of moisture there dampened my sponge enough to where it did turn loose from the bottom of my cup. So I'm just going to kind of tap this around and let it soak up that coffee grunge. And you can see it's already soaking it up. So that's good, but I need a little bit more. It was quite dry. So I'm going to pour probably double what I did last time in there. Okay. And I'm just going to let it's going to revive that sponge. I know, Tammy, I know. It's just part of life, right? See, it's starting to revive my sponge, and now I can squish my sponge again. So it was like hard as a rock first. Now it's soaking up that coffee grunge, and it's making it come back to life. Although now I realize I have a little bit too much coffee in there. That's okay. I'll pour some of it out here in just a minute. All right. Let me, no, I don't have a little container around here, do I? Let me pour some of that into I want to pour some of that coffee grunge into my other paint bowl that I'm going to be using here in just a minute. All right. I'm going to take some of this golden ochre paint, okay, and I'm going to put it into that coffee grunge. And I'm just about out of this color, I think. All right. Do you see how much I have in there, right? So there's the relation of paint into the relation of my coffee grunge. So now I'm just going to kind of use my sponge brush and I'm going to kind of stir that up. It may be that I have too much coffee grunge in here. I think I do. But I do want that yellow color to shine through the coffee grunge. Coffee grunge just kind of dulls it for you. It's going to look pretty yucky. I'm just going to tell you, it's going to look, you're going to question this. Trust the process. Let me grab a baby wipe real quick because we're probably going to get a little messy here. Okay. I'm going to pull out, I have a cookie sheet that I use specifically for crafts. So I'm going to pull this cookie sheet out. Here's my cookie sheet. And this is where I kind of paint things on and then put them in the oven to dry. So I'm going to use that coffee grunge with the yellow paint that's mixed in. I'm going to use this sponge brush and we're going to start dabbing. I'm going to start at the bottom. That way if the color's not exactly what I need it to, I can adjust it. And I can tell it's a little too brown for me, so I need to add a little bit more paint. Let me add a little bit more paint. Come on. I'm going to have to store this upside down. There's still quite a bit of paint in there, but there we go. This will help. We need to yellow it up a little bit. It's always best to start lighter. You can always go darker, but once you go dark, you can't go lighter very easily anyway. All right, so now are you seeing what I'm getting there? If I clump it real heavy, it's dark, but as I'm taking the tip of my sponge and it's pulling some of my stuffing that I've had on my table here, I think, on my sponge brush. I'm just taking it and I'm smearing that out. Now you'll see little clumps. It'll look a little clumpy. Don't fret. That is your cinnamon. Oh golly. I didn't get that tight enough at the top, y'all. My little stem is coming out. That's okay. We're just gonna set that over there. I must have not tied that good. And we're just gonna continue painting that whole pear. Make sure that you pull the seams apart well enough till you can get your sponge brush down into those edges of your seam, okay? And I do like taking my motions of my sponge brush and trying to get them all in the same direction. Once I have the color coverage that I need, I can't even talk this morning, then I like to take the streaks and smooth it out in the same direction here, okay? So I like to go vertical with my brush strokes, okay? Those little seams, you want to make sure you get that color down into those seams really good. And you see, I don't have to dip my sponge brush down in there very often. This little sponge brush, these little daubers, whatever you want to call them, they hold quite a bit of paint, and I can just take what's in it and just smear it all onto that fabric. You're going to have areas that are a little bit darker or maybe shaded a little bit differently than others. That's what's going to give you the little bit of that more realistic look, okay? You want darker areas. You want areas that have lighter colors. That's what pears look like in real life, right? Okay, I'm going to have to go all the way up to the top since my little stem came out. But I just didn't tie it off right, I guess. Didn't tie it off tight enough. Okay, now this point, once you get this all painted the way you like, you're going to put it into an oven to dry, or you can set it out in the hot sun. But I would encourage you to get it in something that gives some heat to it to dry it. Here's why. We have put rice in the bottom of this, and so we don't want that moisture to stay on that fabric and soak through to the rice. So you do need to dry it. You need to either add put a blow dryer on it, or stick it out in the sun, or pop it in the oven for a few minutes to get it to dry at this point. I usually lay it on a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. I set it upright in the oven. That's how I did mine. Set these upright in a 225-degree oven for about 5 or 6 minutes, and they were dry at that point. They were dry. That's that step right there. Let me clean my fingers off. Okay, so letting that dry, let's go to the leaves. We've kind of forgotten about the leaves, haven't we? Every pear needs some cute little leaves. Okay, let me pull one of these pieces out. You're only going to need one of these. No, Mary, it shouldn't change the color of it. It shouldn't. I wouldn't think so. Take your leaf pattern piece here. You're going to do the same thing. I have the same green paint nasty bowl from my green paint that I used a couple of days ago. Let me freshen it up a little bit. You won't need a whole lot of green. You'll definitely need more yellow than you will green, just because, right? You're going to paint both sides of the leaf. Let me show you the color that I used in case you want to make these exactly the same. I used this color. Folk Art is the same brand that we used for the gold. This color is called Truffle. Clover Truffle. That's what it's called. Clover Truffle. Number 923 is the color number on that. But these two are the two colors that I used. Could you use sand? You probably could, Candy. I would just be concerned if you don't get your stitching, your stitches tight enough that sand probably could seep out. That's totally up to you, but I think it could work. All right. Let's take this, and I'm going to just try a little sample here. I'm going to start in the middle to see what my coloring looks like. And that's too brown, so I need to add some green paint. I didn't add any green paint. I just poured in my coffee grunge and let it go. Once you get your coloring right, you'll know it. Let me pour a little bit. I need just a little bit of liquid. I probably honestly just need to add a little bit of water because I already have some coffee in there. I'll add just a tiny bit. Let me tell you, if you create these and your coloring is too bright, if you get them dried and you're looking at them, you just think, these are just too bright. Then what you're going to do is you're going to just take straight coffee grunge and just coat your pear and your leaves with straight coffee grunge. And that will dull them up for you, okay? And it will still let the color shine through. It'll just give it that more of that primitive color tone that we all love. Okay. Now this should work. Yeah, okay. I have little clumps of cinnamon that are going to shine through here. That's okay. I'm just going to keep brushing. All right. See, there we go. See what I'm doing there? I think it's easiest if you start from the center and go out. That way it doesn't pull up the edges of your little leaf. Okay. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to paint the other side as well. There we go. Now you're going to let these dry. You're just going to let those dry. Just like that. When this part is finished, let me show you. My stem ideally would still be in here if I hadn't have pulled it out a while ago. This is what you would have right here. Okay. So bear with me, my little misshapen pear. When these are dry, you're going to take, let me grab, I didn't bring any paper towels over here. I should have had one of these little leaves dry. Take this and kind of pull it and twist it a little bit, okay? Especially here in the center where this long, narrow part is. I like to take it and twist it a little bit, okay? And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to tie it. Actually, I'm going to start the loop of the tying here. You would be doing these with this dry, by the way. Mine are not dry. We're skipping the drying time for right now on this. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pre-make my little tie. Pull your leaves out to where, they're broad-sided so you can see them, okay? And slip that little loop down over your stem like so. Okay, if you want to secure this with a little dab of hot glue, definitely could do that. Okay, you're going to kind of pull it, and as you pull, little by little, you're going to kind of reshape those leaves so that they don't get so wrinkled and wadded up that they lose their shape, okay? You want them to have a little bit of bunching on them, yes. But if you pull that just like so, that's what you get. Is that not the sweetest? Now mine is still wet, and I'm still getting cinnamon off of my hands, but they just turn out so sweet. I just love them. I just love them. Let me see here. Hi, Miss Dawn. All right, so let me see if I can zoom back out. I can't see y'all. There we go. And I'm so close. Heavens to Betsy, hang on. There we go. Y'all don't need to see right up my nostrils, do you? You love them, Debbie? Thank you so much. I just thought they were so sweet. And I will tell you, I really kind of got, I got frustrated along the way because I couldn't get, I just kept thinking, this is not exactly what I want or had in mind. These little flat ones that I created a couple weeks ago, those are cute, but not for what I had in my head. You know, I had like a vision. And so I just think they look so sweet when you just pair them up in a trio, which is what you'll get in your primitive sewing collection. If you purchase one of the primitive sewing collections, you'll get 3 of these. And they look so sweet all together in a little trio, in a little set of 3. This little, there we go. I got to scoot that little leaf tie down. But each one will be just a little bit different, and I think that's what makes them have so much character. They look like the real thing, don't they? They look like the real thing. Could you put up where, yes, if you want to get the pattern, I did post it in the link. Let me see if I can grab that link. The pattern, like I said before, some of you may not have been on with me when I was talking about it earlier. This pattern that I'm using is, let me pull out the paper here. It's from a designer named Tammy, and her shop on Etsy is called Rock River Stitches, okay? She is the one that created this pattern. So if you sew and you want to create your own, you can go purchase this pattern. This pattern is priced a little bit higher than what I typically like to use and share with you all. But sorry, I was hearing something that caught my ears. It caught my attention. But I think it has great potential for making quite a few of those. And the style and the character to these, I think, is unmatched. So for me, the price point was okay. I was fine with that. If you want the pre-sewn sets, okay, that's what I will have offering available for you on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. I will have the pre-sewn sets available for you. They will already be stitched. All you'll have to do is finish them with the coloring and whatnot. So super easy for you all if you just want to purchase the set. Those will be available Tuesday morning. I didn't put that link in there, did I? Here we go. There it is again. There it is. Hopefully it'll pop up. I'm seeing comments here and not here. There we go. But this is the little vignette. Let me show you. In the Primitive Sewing Collection, you'll get a guide sheet just like you did with the crow set. It'll tell you what the set includes. It'll tell you additional items, some optional items. I'll even have a pre-recorded video that shows you how I style them. So I take them from craft project to home decorating project all together in that video and show you how I styled it and give you a couple little decorating tips along the way. So that Primitive Sewing Collection, you get a lot in that, item-wise and, you know, information-wise that I think is really beneficial for you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Miss Janice. Prayers for you and your family. This is the vignette that I have behind me. I don't know if you walk, I can't see if I can zoom in on that little vignette back there. This is my little staging area. I love these with a little, of course you all know I'm such a sucker for, the little candle lights, but they look darling with a little bit of a glow on them. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go, a little bit. That little vignette right there is so sweet. Love that. That would be so cute tucked in. Let me get back out. That would look so sweet in the corner of your kitchen. Those little pears, or on the corner of a little hutch or buffet or whatnot. But they're super small. You can put them on a tiered tray, tuck them on a shelf. I'll give you a couple of different decorating scenarios with those pears with that pre-recorded video that you'll get if you order the Primitive Sewing Collection number two for those primitive pear trio. Thank you, Miss Shireen. Thank you so much. And we have not done, there we go. We have not done the pantry tarts. I know I was going to do those with you all last week and I had to cancel. I was just wiped out after last weekend working in the heat. I just couldn't get up the energy to get that out. So we will do these very soon. I'll be letting you know. These little pantry tarts are so fun to make. Flour, salt, and coffee grounds. Those are the 3 ingredients that you'll need if you want to make these little pantry tarts. And a little cake mold of some sort, like a little Jell-O mold or little tart tins or something like that for these. We'll do those soon. I'll be letting you know when I've rescheduled that. I'll be live Wednesday at noon for a midweek check-in. This week for midweek check-in, I have lots of goodies that I want to share with you all that have come in, some fan mail. If you want to send fan mail, you can do that. You can send that to me, Tracey Campbell, My Sweet Home Living, P.O. Box 61, Philpott, Kentucky, 42366. If you'd like that address, again, I do have it pinned in the featured section on My Sweet Home Living Facebook page for you if you'd like to send something. Thank you so much. I'm so glad y'all love those. Thank you so much, Miss Cheryl. Well, I'm going to sign off. You will have an amazing rest of your weekend. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. I hope you love these pears as much as I do. And if you're waiting for the primitive sewing collection, number 2 for the pears, set your alarms for Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time and be on my Telegram or Messenger broadcast channel. Those will be the first to know. I'll see you soon. Have the rest of your weekend.